morning, Inkies. I hope you are well. Today's video is going to be about One Book July. Again, I was going to do a journal with me, but July is fast approaching and I want to get everything sorted and set up. And I've had a lot of people very interested in my One Book July thoughts and processes, and has been sort of quietly pushed to the front of the queue because so many people are interested in the idea. They are getting excited about the challenge. There's already videos starting to pop up, and the co-founders of it have started putting their content up, so I thought that I would do another video on this because things have changed. I am almost finished the book. I will probably finish it today. I haven't highlighted anything, and that's purely because when I was sitting there reading, I had nothing with me. I don't know what I was thinking. I literally have, I think, a piece of ripped up receipt in here somewhere that I found next to me or near me. Oh, has it fallen out? Oh man. I had a piece of receipt that was marking something. I'm using a paper bag from the craft show that I went to with the girls on the weekend to mark my page. That's how unorganized I really was when deciding to read this. I'm going to actually probably read it again with my little tab markers and a highlighter because there's so much valuable information in this, and the whole concept of this book was what has changed what I'm going to use for One Book July. And so I thought I'd make another video, and obviously I'd want to talk about the supplies and paring down my supplies for the month. It was something that I did in the challenge the first time around, where I did one pen and stuff like that. I'm not going as hardcore because obviously my job description has changed completely since when I first did the challenge. So I will be sort of hanging out in one pouch, and we're going to go, this is not what my one pouch is about. I literally haven't even started sorting out my supplies, but I am going to have one pouch as the thing that I use all month, with the exception of the choose your own adventure, because obviously when I pick whatever I pick for that month, which I realized we didn't actually do one this month because the month has just flown by, but I will definitely be picking one early in July. And those supplies are exempt from this challenge, because if I pull out crayons or if I pull out like gouache, that is not going to be in that pouch, I can assure you. So that is the only exception. The rest of it I will be working with whatever I put in that thing, in that pouch. And the bullet journal, I sat there for ages the other night because, you know, I was so dedicated. I still am using my standard, but I had bought, you know, notebooks and things with the weekly and the monthly and all that sort of stuff. I bought all these things to do One Book July, and then I sat there reading the book over the last couple of days, and I almost threw everything, threw caution to the wind, and picked up the Nuna book that I had bought because it was dot grid, it was quite wide, it had numbered pages, but I didn't. I was like, no, be smart. You love this notebook. You want to take this notebook away with you. If this is going to be your planning system essentially for July, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it goes well and I can go through the rest of the year, you want to be in something that you want to have for the rest of the year that you enjoy. And I want to take this little beauty to Japan and have the full-on experience of using my standard Tian, the one that started it all, and taking that to Japan. And that was like my brain was like, you want to do that. So what I sat down and did, or what I got my hubby to help me with, because I would have butchered it, although I think he slightly butchered it himself, so at least I can't be blamed for this one. I got one of my Stalogy notebooks and cut it down to standard size, and that meant that I had a nice thick notebook to work with. It's got the grid in it. Yeah, it's not very straight, and hubby could have done a better job, but I wasn't willing to try it because I don't think I have the hand strength or the wrist strength to actually do that. I am going to be covering the book in this video because I want to start getting it all prepped and ready. But I'm going to be using the Stalogy because I wanted a decent sized notebook. I did consider just pulling out the graph one, because I think I have a spare graph one sitting around somewhere, but I wanted to have a notebook that would carry me through and I wouldn't stress about running out of pages. So I picked up this one. in my stash. I think it's one of the half yearly ones. Yeah, it's not a full Stalogy, it's a half one. I think I got it in a stationery selection box, and so it's just been sitting on my shelf. So I cut it down to fit, because no one that I know of does a thick gridded traveler size notebook insert. If I'm wrong, please tell me if there is a thick-ish standard size with grid or dot grid on the market, because if this works out, I don't want to be forever cutting down Stalogies or cutting down Leustrums or anything like that. Please let me know if there is one on the market and I'm just living under a rock and I don't know, because I have high hopes. This book is pretty good. I'm actually buying a copy for my sister to get her sort of sorted. I was going to gift her mine, but I think I want to keep my copy because it is very, very valuable and makes you think and look at things differently than what I have looked at it before. And I really enjoyed, you don't have to have the book. He also has YouTube videos about the process and stuff. I just really enjoyed the insight that came from this and something tangible that I can hold on to. So yeah, that is where we're headed. One Book July in the standard size. And I haven't actually set up anything yet. This is what today's video is about, is to try and set things up and get things going. I've been umming and ahhing about what I want to include. Do I want to put my collections in a separate book? And then I think, no. I'm going to do it like the way it is meant to be, all in one book, except my journal. I will be journaling in this insert, which I've already started. I didn't want to start a new one for it, and I didn't like the idea of having my journal within my planner. I'd never combined the two. I don't think I ever would. Plus, it would bulk up this book so quickly. I'd be living hump life within a blink. So I thought, if this could be my planner, this could be my journal. I don't need anything else. Everything else is just stuff that doesn't need to be there. So I have a planner and a journal within the standard TN, like so, and I will put them together and then I'll set up the rest. I have my little stickers folder back here with all my little stickers on this, because it's smaller than standard, so it fits on that obscure short elastic, which was just perfect. So that's there. I have the leather pocket, which I'll probably keep, but I'll have to reconfigure them with bits and pieces. It's not going to be my wallet. The only reason why there's money tucked in back here is because I get paid to babysit once a fortnight. I babysit every day, but she pays me once a fortnight, and I've been stashing the money back here to put aside for Japan spending money. So it's like my little secret squirrel fund, and if it's not in my wallet, it doesn't get spent. So it's tucked in here so that I don't spend it and it can be saved. But I want to cover this book because it's black and boring, and I don't want to look at it. And I pretty much think I'm just going to be really lazy in covering, because I don't want to put a lot of emphasis on the pretty part of this. I have watched quite a few bullet journal videos recently in the last day or two, and I get totally overwhelmed by the whole process of what people do and all the spreads and stuff, that I'm just going to ignore all that and just stick to the actual core elements that this book talks about and get my head around that, and then maybe play with some doodling and some drawing and stuff like that. But I'm not going to do theme spreads. I'm not going to do all the really cool stuff that is happening. The whole purpose of One Book July is to pare everything down to the basics of planning and being productive, not just busy. And that's definitely something that I need coming into the last half of the year. Is kind of, I feel pretty burnt out mentally, and I need to sort of regain a bit of clarity and a bit of focus and try and get my spark happening to push me through to the end of the year. And so July is probably the perfect time to do something like this, especially if you're feeling very scattered and you're feeling very all over the place. This is probably why I decided to do it this year as opposed to not doing it other years, is I'm definitely feeling that sort of slump kicking in more often than not lately. Like, my brain is just exhausted and I keep thinking, I just need a break, and I'm tired. And I think that also comes in conjunction with dealing with my kids' stuff at the moment, with them fighting constantly. It really wears on your sort of mentality and just wears you out. And I think that mixed in with trying to be upbeat and creative for my job, I've got nothing left in the tank. So I decided to do this challenge to try and get myself refocused, to start focusing on getting some of the goals that I had way back in January that I haven't even touched or tried to. I mean, I got my Etsy store open, but I barely get content in there. I keep thinking that I'm going to put the extra collage sheets in there onto Etsy because I give you guys so many, and I just never get time to, and I don't make the time to do it. So babble, babble, babble. This is totally about getting some clarity and focus and getting over that mid-year hump and really charging into the last part of 2019 and not letting it just pass me by and waiting for a new year to come. And I definitely have been feeling really slumpy in the last probably month and a half, and it really takes a toll on creativity, and that's my job. Creativity is my job, and inspiring you guys is part of my job, and it's a really hard slog if you don't feel it on the inside. It's very fleeting, and being a creative as a job is amazing and such a privilege, but it's also a bit of a curse, especially when you're trying to be creative on command. So I thought, yep, okay, let's do this. Let's try and get focused. Let's try and regain something. I did find my original bullet journal that I had when I was talking about it the other day. I thought I'd done so much more in here than I did before. So you had the index section in here, and I did bits and pieces. It was in April of 2016, so quite a few years ago now. I'd use stickers and things. I'm definitely going to keep it very, very simple like this. I used the hyperdex to try and visually focus on things. This is when I was thinking about Patreon and what I was going to do. And that's when I think I switched to the B6. So I have all this book that I may very well go back to at a later date, but for now I want to be in my standard. And so I had to make sure that I had a book for my standard, and because I was trying to force the bullet journal into these when I don't want to spend that mental energy trying to force the bullet journal style into these notebooks. So I just decided to cut my losses, grab something I already had, and cut it down to fit what I needed. So I am definitely going to have a lot of the core basics. I'm not getting fancy. I'm not, you know, trying to create the wheel for myself. I am literally doing the method that it is at its core, and I'm not trying to add things, because at the moment I am a beginner at bullet journaling. I've done a lot of to-do lists and stuff like that, but I've never actually implemented the system as it was intended, and I don't think many of us have, and we've just seen variations of it because we watch a lot of stuff on the internet, and that definitely makes us see the bullet journaling in a completely different light compared to the purpose of it being what it's been created for. And it is amazing how the community has changed it and everything, and I love creative freedom, but I don't have the time for that because that's not my job. Making pretty planner pages is not my job. I don't need it to be my job. I don't want it to be my job, but I do need a planner that is going to help me be productive and not just busy and overwhelmed with a never-ending task list that doesn't ever seem to shift. So I thought I would sort of take you through the covering of the notebook, talk about what supplies I want to use, and maybe start setting it up. I've been so hesitant setting it up because I don't want to make a mistake, which then defeats the purpose of like pretty planning. I think it's because I hate my handwriting so much, but I'm gonna use I'm just gonna suck it up and maybe even use my Dymo or something like that. I should have got Sian to letter me stuff because she does it so much better than I do. But I've got my date stamp, my mini data. I've also got those calendar stamps for the monthly pages, because there are so many different versions of monthly pages where you do the days of the months down the side. I never liked how that looked. I think I did it in here, or I did it in my B6, and I remember going, oh God, I hate how that looks. No, I did this with a square, but I didn't, like, this is the monthly here, pretty sure. I don't even know. What was I doing? Yeah, here. I hated this. I don't like how that looks. I never have. So I'm definitely going to use my stamps, my calendar stamps, and then have half the page down below for things that are due on that month, and Then I have future log pages, that sort of stuff. Collections, I was going to have a separate book for collections, but I'm not going to because that's just not the method. It's all in one book, and I'm definitely doing that except for my journal because I don't want to add, you know, heaps of ephemera and tip-ins, and then my planner becomes, you know, fat and chunky like every other book I attempt to do that sort of stuff in. Whew, that's enough babbling. I'm going to finish my tea before it goes cold and start working on this front cover. Like I said, it's going to be so basic because I don't want to spend 100 years covering my thing. I actually really like this photograph, and it really to me feels like the essence of me. Lots of color and sort of getting ready to step forward with purpose, and this definitely makes me feel that. So I think I want to put that on the front, but I might chop it down a little bit because I think it takes up too much of the background. I could print it smaller, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I have a little version, but that's too little. So I might chop this down. This is the background from last month. I also have a copy of the background that I made for the background video, which I haven't turned into a collage sheet yet, which will be in your July collage sheets. So maybe I should use that, or would that be mean that I'll be using a sheet you haven't got yet? Who knows? But my battery's flashing, so I'm going to change my battery pack, finish my tea, and we'll start getting into the covering of the book, and then I'll talk to you about supplies. Because I don't want to, I talked about this in my first video that I made when I first started One Book July way back when, is the suffocation of stuff. And I definitely want to implement the same concept, but obviously I will have more supplies because I still need to create for you guys. But it needs to be able to fit in my pen pouch. If it's in here, I can use it for the month of July. Everything else will get put away and just focus on using my supplies and not thinking about all the different things that I have on my desk that I could be using. This is what I've got to use. Get on with it, do the job, instead of spending all that wasted energy picking options.
Story being told inside my head. I'm too shy to straighten up my bones and be a man. I gotta tear this wall apart to let you in. My friends say the time's running out, so take the chance. Make a move, 'cause the store won't stay open till the end. Won't you tear my world apart? 'Cause I know I need a start to let you in. When it's over, I will see what I've done. Let it go too soon. Oh, I'll be stronger if you just step right in. 'Cause I need a start to let you in. Days pass and I'm still
I said it's going to be simple, non-fussworthy. I will get out my really thick bookbinding tape and laminate it so that it doesn't get all janky and stuff, but I didn't want it to be like filled with everything. That's why I chose one of my background papers, so I didn't have to do any work. I didn't want to spend 100 years making a really cute cover. I like this quote. It was a business card that came with some stuff that I ordered ages ago, and it was tucked into a pocket in here, so I cut it down and just added it in there. Now once I've done the laminating or the covering, I better find that big roll of clear tape. I've got these pastel pink post-it notes that I got from Daiso, and I just happened to decide that I was going to use my calendar stamps that I bought a while ago, and I just checked and they do fit really nicely on there, so I will be doing my months with the pink post-it notes because I'm not quite sure. I don't want to deal with bleed through and stuff like that. I did cover the sides to sort of help with the edges and things because they're not very even because of hubs. So I've done that. I've pulled that tape over. That's all good. So I'm going to grab my thick bookbinding tape, cover it, and then come back and start working on the guts of this thing. And then we're going to talk about supplies.
Child, I know you're hurt and you can't let go. It's not your fault and you don't deserve all the bad and the hurt. I know you tried so hard. I know you've done your part. It's not fair. You did your time. How much longer will you suffer in this life? But don't give up. Just hold on tight.
So I have done my monthlies and I realized I got ahead of myself. So I've done my future log. I thought I'd just do like this with the monthlies for the rest of the year. A lot of people do like columns where you put a little bit, but I got carried away and did all that. And so then I wanted to focus on the month of July. And I'm opening the book to show you this spread that kind of gives you the key concepts. Let me just pack up some of these, the calendar stamps, which were so perfect for this. I didn't have to stress about writing them out perfectly. They fit beautifully on the post-it notes. I am a very happy camper right now. I'm actually utilizing my stamps a lot for this because I don't like my lettering and I don't have Sian in the corner today helping. So key concepts were the index, which I did at the start, and then the future log, which is what I did with the big post-it notes. So these ones over here, they're going to be my future log. Even though they have them kind of like this, I didn't do that. I'm also working with a smaller space, so I think doing them this way was handier. Then I'm about to do the monthly log, and this is where you do the numbers down the side, and then on the separate page you have like the monthly tasks for that. And then on these ones I kind of want to put more appointment type things, like time specific things, like if there's a note for the kids or if they've got something due for school, that sort of thing will be on these types of pages. Whereas the task list for the month is kind of like my personal task list. Then the daily log, and then rapid logging. So rapid logging is the kind of thing that you do on the daily log, and then collections, and then talking about migration. So generally an overview of this sort of thing is exactly this kind of look. And that's why I think I had my piece of ripped up receipt on this piece to sort of give me an idea of the key concepts, the very basic broken down things. There are obviously so many things you can do. I have this stamp set that's got like this little grid down here. I thought about doing some form of tracking down here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's basically a little monthly tracker that I can do without taking up a huge amount of space. So definitely thinking about that sort of thing. So tracking every day, you can have the days of the week down here and then track something on the side, which I'm definitely thinking of doing. I can't remember where I got this stamp set from, but it's very, very handy. I was testing this one up here in my old bullet journal to see what it would look like, just to sort of gauge an idea. But I think it's too small for this, and because the little numbers are so small, it doesn't line up with the grids. So I decided decided to scrap that stamp, even though I liked the look of it. I was also thinking about using my Midori rulers and doing it down the side that way, but again, it's just too much faffing about to sit there and do it. I need to forget about getting caught up in the pretty and trying to make it beautiful, and just, even though I don't love the way it looks, sorry, I'm starting to lose my voice already, I'm just going to do the numbers and the days down the side. Like, I'm just gonna have to get over it. It's not the end of the world. But I am going to use some scraps of paper. I was just trying to decide whether I wanted the font, because I have so many different fonts and things in my stamps, but I do really like the cursive, and I like the whole theme of the pink pastel post-it notes. I'm just moving things around to get to my biggest stamp box over here. Things are falling. And I want to also use some of my pretty stamps in here to sort of add layering and things, sort of getting the vibes. And I have a couple of stamps that I picked up at the craft show, some fairies and things. I've just got to work out where I put them. I think I put them down, but I've got some cute little things and a cute little cat stamp. So I kind of picked up a few things at the craft show, but I think I just want to use some of my these little stamps here that I've got. And I'm trying to grab that one. And I've got the sea, I've got my little hand, I've got my little stars. So a couple of little odds and ends that I want to use. I might use the cats. I do have another cat stamp that I picked up at this craft show, which I might just track down and put a little black cat on my spread. But that's about as pretty as I'm going to get, is a couple of stamps and layering a few bits of tape, and that's it. And then that'll be the end. And using my stencils and things to sort of write logos, not logos, write titles and things is probably how I'll do it. I kind of liked how this sort of stuff looked. I don't think I'll be watercoloring my pages. I do like these sort of headery things that I did with this sort of stuff. I used my little Midori thing to write these sorts of things. I do really like how these were looking. So I'm kind of really enjoying the sort of bold, blank, very simple stuff, because I'm only just starting. I don't want to get overwhelmed by trying to make everything perfect, which is very easy to do. I do want to do some collections. I want to think about doing a month in review. I do want a tracker, but I only want a little baby one. I don't want to get overwhelmed in it, so I'll definitely put the sort of tracker on the monthly task list or down here in the corner and sort of refer to it each day. Probably not the best place for it to be, but I don't want a whole dedicated page to tracking, because I know in my heart I've tried to track things in the past and I've sucked at it, but there are a few things that I'm not doing that will be beneficial, like taking my thyroid medication, taking my multivitamin, making sure I drink some water. There are things that I need to be implementing that I have just let go and just ignored, and it's definitely taken a toll on my health. So I want to be more accountable, and I want this month to sort of be a habit building month as well. If I'm going to be doing this in this sort of way, I want to be really focusing and really pushing and trying harder this month than ever before, to see if things change or change a little bit or feel different. I want to see if it's because I was putting in a heap more effort. I want to see what sort of results I can get by pushing myself a little bit further and by really focusing and really trying to do my best, and seeing what I can achieve when I put all my energy into being productive instead of just busy.
This is as good a day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under the knife. And I can feel the sun on my skin. This morning has so clear a light as any to see the horizon and the far. Excuses were two for a penny.
I think I haven't done enough. I obviously want to do more, but I think that I will do a flip of that a little bit later on, because I need to work out what sort of collections are going to be worthwhile putting in here. And that was one of the big takeaways, that the book talks about having things that is going to add value to your life and not just something to have in your bullet journal for the sake of having it. So I really need to sit down and do a mental inventory of collections that I want. So that things like Patreon collage requests and things that are business related definitely will go in here, like a master collage sheet request. I've always had those. I've had those in my past bullet journal. I've had it in my sort of brain dump book. I will have a brain dump page as well, because I do think that getting a whole lot of the noise and the junk that sort of swirls around my head on a daily basis is something that I want to have in here as well. Those are the sorts of collections. I mean, a brain dump's not a collection. A brain dump is just a page that I would have in here every now and again. Once it's filled, move on to the next one, and then sort of add it at the index. Going to have, this is my July page. Even though I hate this, I think it's the easiest way to get it. I wish I didn't use such a thick pen. That's the only thing, because I wasn't paying attention to the pen that I actually picked up was a 0.7, and I wish I'd used a 0.5. Anything to remember down the bottom. This is my little pathetic habit tracker, but I didn't want, like I said, didn't want to make a huge deal out of the habit tracking. And this is the monthly task list for the month of July, which I will need to sit down and fill out. Got my little future logs, even though it's not the usual style. I really like it the way that it is. And then I would start either putting my collections down, which I'm not sure if I want to do that just yet, because I haven't exactly worked out what I want to do. Or starting the sort of first bunch of weekly pages or daily pages, if you know what I mean. I'm not having a page per day. I don't think I need that. I will do a day as it comes. I'm not doing anything in advance, because like I said, my moods, my depression and my anxiety really do show up in my planner, where I have huge gaps where I don't plan for a week on an end, or like 3 days straight when I am suffering. And so I don't want to have the same problem here. The one thing that I loved about the bullet journal was that I could just go and do it as it came, as the days came. If I missed a day, see, 16, 17, there is no 18. I skipped over to 19, 19 to 22 to 24. There are days there that have just been jumped, and it doesn't matter. If I was in, say, my normal planner, I would have all these massive gaps, and then the guilt sets in that I'm not doing enough. I should be planning more. I should be doing more. The I should start coming in, and I don't want to fill my head with the I shoulds. Like I said, this is to very focus me down. I want to have a goals page. I know there are certain things that I want to do, so like a goals, personal and obviously business related. I need to start a Japan collection for trip planning, and I've got 2 versions of that, because I'm spending a week with the girls, I'm spending a week with hubby, so separate trips. So trip 1 and trip 2, even though it's the same trip, I'm doing completely different things in both those weeks. So I'm doing a whole heap of stuff with the girls that's more stationary, art related, all that sort of stuff, and stuff with hubby is going to be more about sort of sightseeing and do cultural things, because we've been to Japan before, but we're also doing a different section than we did last time. So I need a collection on that, and sort of a sub collection of planning and stuff like that. So there'll be a whole thing dedicated to that, and then I will update you guys in throughout the month on how it evolves and everything, because I know that it's really interesting to see how I would do a take on the bullet journal, because you haven't really seen me ever plan ever, really. I don't really put a whole emphasis in my Patreon on planning, and maybe I should, because I know there's a heap of us that plan, and a heap of people ask me how I get everything done, and my answer to that is I don't know. I just work a lot. I just work a lot. So I definitely want to start thinking about what I want to put in my supplies, and I've got all this stuff sort of floating about in this pink pencil case. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull everything out of this pencil case and then sit and think critically about what I want to put in. I don't want to have 1,000 and million things in here. In this case, I don't want to get overwhelmed and have that suffocation of stuff. I obviously can't just do the one pen, one palette like I did the first time. I could, but it'd be very boring for you guys with journal with me's and stuff like that. So I'm going to empty out this case, tidy up my desk a little bit. I'm actually going to go turn the air conditioner off because I am so hot right now, and I don't know if that's because I've got a bit of a fever. I'm not sure, but I'm starting to get a bit lightheaded from the heat. I do know that these guys are going in there. I use these religiously with my bullet journal in the past. And also, what did I just drop? My ink pad. This little guy is the green Hobonichi stencil. That is definitely going in there because that's another thing I used heaps and heaps and heaps. I do have this one, and that's the one that I got for the Jibun Techo, but I don't think I need it enough to keep it in my stash. I mean, there's little bullet points there, but I am not doing the bullet points like little circles with a stencil. I will do the squares, and this has tiny little numbers on it. Yeah, I'll do that. I don't think that needs to go. Anyway, like I said, gonna tidy up this and start focusing on the supplies. I know that I didn't get very much done in here, but at the same time I wanted to really think about what is going to add value. Why am I doing it? That is a whole heap about the book, that it goes very much into why, what will this add to my life, why will it add it to my life, and why am I doing it? And so I want to do a lot more critical thinking, which I don't want to do on the spot, and I don't want to rush it through on camera, because I think that totally takes away the whole purpose of it. So just know that you will get like an update on it in the next couple of weeks, maybe the next week. I'll try and check in and do little mini videos. I don't want to make this a weekly video for the whole month of July because that cuts out half your content. But if you would like that, I could. I am going to talk about it on YouTube at a later date. Maybe. We'll see. I say that and I never do. But I definitely need to start thinking about what's happening in the month of July and think about what I want to track through the month of July and get those going, and then really start thinking about what collections I want and start setting those up. But they're going to be a lot of the same, where I have a little bit of paper at the top, and using my stencil and stuff. I'm not going to be drawing a whole heap in here. I don't know whether I'll do the month in review with photographs and stuff. I have seen that. I know the lovely Sian has got like a week in review, sort of where she's doing some journaling. I have considered morning pages in here as well, and trying to sort of wake up earlier and get out of bed and start my day. With winter here in Australia, you don't want to get out of bed, and the thought of dragging myself out of bed to the dining room or wherever it is to start my morning pages does not fill me with a sense of excitement. But I think it definitely something needs to change in my morning routine so that I'm at my desk and ready earlier than normal to be more productive, instead of really faffing about and sort of not ignoring my responsibilities, but sort of dragging my feet to them. And I think that that's a whole snapshot of exactly how I've been feeling the last month and a half, just dragging myself through the motions. I don't want to drag myself. I want to be ahead of the motions. I want to be ahead of everything and excited and inspired. And that generally will give that creative momentum that I'm always talking about. I'm always chasing that sort of domino muse effect. And I'm hoping that this will definitely help with that. I really do enjoy the whole theory behind the bullet journal. I do love it. I just need to make sure that I can make it work for me, and without getting bogged down by the fact that I don't have the most beautiful spreads in the world. Even though I'm an artist and people would expect my bullet journal to be brimming with creativity, I would rather put my creativity into my work that I get paid for than into my planner, which is to organize what I get paid for. So chaos ensues. No, I said I'd tidy my desk, and then I just emptied everything onto the table instead. I've got my pink bag. I've got the little zipper pocket open so I can add the smaller things to it. I am looking through what is already in here. I will also grab my brown one because I've got my mild liners in there, and I will grab, you know, bits and pieces from everywhere. So I have to do this quickly. My small humans are coming home soon from school. I took way too much time fussing over my bullet journal. I am putting my staple and my stapler in there in case I want to work on attaching something. So I'm going to put those in there, and I'm also going to put my little washi tape holder because I can generally just add tape to those and not have too much space. So I'm going to put that in there. Now the rulers, my Midori ones are going in there, and my little Hobonichi one. I will probably put the Hobonichi one in the slip pocket of my planner because the metal ones obviously got a lot. This I have broken. This is my second one. Is this my broken one? No, my broken one, I like snapped it from overuse. So this is my replacement. So I'm going to put that on the inside. Is it broken? Have I broken it? Maybe. Yeah, look, my little dotted lines, not so dotted anymore. Maybe I broke the second one too without knowing. I've got a tape runner. I will put a glue stick in there as well. I am also putting a pair of scissors in there. Scissors. Hopefully they'll be fine. Yeah, I think they'll be fine. So I'm only putting a little pair in there. I don't need a giant pair. White pen. Now I'm putting 2 in there because I'm still testing this one by Pilot. So this is the Pilot Poplot. And so I'm still testing whether it's a rival for the Uniball Signal or not. So I've got those 2 white pens. My ballpoint pen is definitely going in there. I am really enjoying my ballpoint pen at the moment. And I think my pink fountain pen is here. Yep, so that's got my brown ink in it as well. I am going to put my pink ruler in there because if I want to measure something, I can. I do also have this little one from the stationery selection box, but I'm not putting that in there. Don't need it. Clips, I'm going to put the 2 Traveler's Notebook ones in there. Oh, they're very heavy though. I might just put one and then put one of the stationery selection box ones in there. So, to keep my book open if I want to film anything with it. I'm also going to put my pink mechanical pencil and a standard one. So like a grey one and a pink one. I am going to be putting my chunky eraser in there and also my smaller one for smaller details. So I have a chunky one and a small one. And I'm left with all the mess. I have been using my Sailor Moon limited edition pen with the Sailor Moon ink, so you can see there that I've got little sailor bows on them. I've been using this for planning as well, so I'm going to keep that in there. I'm going to put my glittery pink highlighter in there as well. What else have I got in here that I could use? My other I have so many of these. I love these things. I have an addiction. I don't know if I've shown you, but I have a lot. Like I have a lot of these. This isn't even my entire collection. I really enjoy these pens. I love them when they were just the basic ones that you could get as kids, and when they made sort of, I bought all the Sailor Moon ones that I wanted. So this is a Sailor Moon one, this is a Sailor Moon one, and obviously the other one. I think that I bought 3. So they are Sailor Moon style pens. This is the one that I use the most and has been in my planner for ages. This is my little cinnamon bun one. But I will put this one in there because it's got the most ink because it's the newest. But I'll put all those other ones to the side. Let's see if there's anything in here. This is my sort of planner on the go pouch. I will put my pink jelly roll in there. I don't want to put too many pink things in because I don't want to just have pink in it. Where's my pen roll? Oh, let's see, is there anything in my pen roll that I really want? I'm going to put my paint brushes into my pouch because I'm not going to sacrifice not having the right size paintbrush. I'm just going to put all those in there. Don't think I need any of those right now, so that can stay there. I'm obviously going to be putting in my palette because this is the one thing that I know I will definitely use and can get by and have gotten by on just this palette alone for a very long time. I may fill up my Opera Pink before I start though, because that looks very low. So I'm going to put that in there. I am going to put my sepia ink pad in there as well. Now, this is the one exception to the rule. I have a lot of stamp sets and I want to use those stamp sets within the month of July and obviously further on, but I don't want to put a whole heap of stamps into my pouch. So I will put the ink and I will put my mini data, because I also know that I will use this a heap in there, but the stamps will just stay out and I will use them as I see fit, because I don't want to try and jam a whole heap of stamps in there, but I do want to utilize them throughout the month, because I feel like I have quite a lot of stamps at the moment and they're just not getting enough attention, and they need to. Let's just put all these little months back in here, otherwise I'll lose them and then I'll get hella emo. I think that's all of them in my little caboodle. So what have I got in here? So this is just a black no-name brand ballpoint pen, although I did just grab on the weekend and another one of my, you know, the black ballpoint pen that I said I've had for years and years and it's finally going to run out soon. Sian found me the pen, and so this is a brand new one. You can see by the logo. So I'm going to put that in there. This is something that just got brought out, and because I was fangirling over my mild liners, they have brought out brush tip versions of them. Not all the colors, only a few, and I picked up just the brown. So they are a very flexible tip. Is this in frame? Am I in frame? It's not like a brush tip, like a real brush pen where they're all separate. It's definitely a flexible nib. I really liked the color. The other tip, I was expecting a smaller brush tip, but it's not. It's just a bullet tip. So they got rid of the highlighter tip and added a brush tip pen, which I thought was really, really nice. And I don't know if this is a new color or not, but no, it's not a new color because that's the same as that one. I will put that in there. I will grab my gray, my purple, my blue, my pink. Where's the yellow? I use yellow for the kids. I might put this sort of blushy pink in there. Losing my voice. This always happens when I talk too much. I'm not putting them all in there. I just think that's a bit of overkill. The turquoise. Do I have that mustardy yellow? Where is it? I have to pull them all out and drive myself mental. Is that it? No. Did I not buy the mustard yellow? Or have I put it in a safe place and now I can't find it? Is that it? Is that it? Yes. There we go. That'll do. And maybe that one. Oh my god. I want them all. I want to put them all in my pouch, but I don't want to sacrifice the room. If I'm going to live for a month in this land, I don't want to, I need all the things. So there are the colors I have. Oh my goodness. Oh no, we've got room. We've got room. I am going to pick about 5 or 6 colored pencils as well. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do that now. I do have some of them on this side of me. I have some of my Jane ones, which are really easy to, as go-tos, because they're just really simple. I might just grab all my Jane colors wherever I've got them sort of hiding around the place and add them to my pencil case and have a couple of colored pencils if I want to draw or something. Let's see. I have been using the brown pens to sort of write and do things, so I will add the Sarasa clips. in there in the different browns, as well as this one, because I have just somehow decided that pink and brown are kind of the theme I'm going with. So I'm going to put my brown pens in there. I don't think I want anything else in there from this pile. So maybe I'll just pick up this and shove them. I don't think I want to. I will. Okay, fine. I'm going to put my my Copic brush pen in there as well, so I have a thick black pen if I want it. Although a brush pen's probably not the smartest idea, because I'm, you know, not fluent at all in brush pen land. What's this one? No, don't want that. Did I put one of those in there? I don't know. No, I put the Uniball one in there. Okay. Okay. Let me just quickly check this pencil case. The pressure! The pressure! Don't think there's anything in here that I want to put in. Oh, some of my Jane pencils are in here. So that's... Where's my turquoise one of Jane's? Where is the blue? I have the blue one somewhere, and that's probably one of my favorites, is her turquoise pencil, but it's not around. But just know that they will go in there eventually when I figure out where it is. Where it is. I don't think I need any of these. Any of those. Don't need any of that. Don't need any of that. Okay. I think that is all I want to put in there for now. I think I've covered a lot of my bases. I'm going to have to get an elastic band for all the colored pencils so they don't get lost. But that is pretty full. Like, that's everything for one month. I don't think I need anything else. The only extra things that I'm going to use are obviously my, what do you call it? Stamps, but I'm not putting them in there. I do have glue, scissors, data, pens, pencils, ruler, washi tape, stapler, mold liners, my paint palette. Obviously maybe my Dymo gun, but that's not going to fit in here. But I don't know if I'll use that or not because I've got my mini data. I think that is everything. I could shove in my acrylic block, but that comes under the stamp heading. I've got my little washi tape, and I can just, when I've run out of a certain color, I can add extra colors. I can't think of anything else that I want to add to this right now. I think that's pretty much, I think I can get by quite easily. Obviously, collage sheets, I should be fine. I should be fine. I've been doing some Copic marker stuff, so I guess that's exception to the rule. But I think work stuff like that is separate. But I'm going to try really, really hard to just work out of this pencil case for the month of July. And obviously Choose Your Own Adventure is separate to that, but generally if it comes in the planning kind of thing in that book, and even in my journaling, when I do my journaling in here, I will definitely use the supplies. Paper ephemera is different as well, so paper ephemera like photographs and collage sheets and stuff is different. So I will be doing some standard journaling spreads in the month of July for you guys. I know people have been excited to see that. So yeah. If you are doing One Book July, are you going to be using the bullet journal method? Have you ever used it? Are you an old hand at it? I want to start a discussion thread for One Book July in the Facebook group. So if you are not already in there, the whole deal is that you contact me via Facebook or add me as a friend and then send me a message saying, hey, I'm a top tier inky, I'd like to be in the Facebook group. I've had to keep the group secret so that I knew who was in there was actually a patron and not just randoms. I've spent so much time trying to cross-reference everyone. This is the only way you can get into the Facebook group. You can obviously defriend me if you want afterwards. I'm highly okay with that. But that's the way I have to manually add you into the secret group. I think that's pretty much everything. I am really excited. I will do a check-in bonus video this month for you guys once I've done my collections, and I'll obviously include some of that footage into maybe the studio vlog or something like that, because I know that it may feel, where is my book? It may feel like I didn't really show you exactly what I'm doing, but I wanted to get the whole process and the thought behind it out there first, and to show you the book that I'm actually picking and why I want to do this month. I really wanted that information, and to sort of talk to you about the book itself. I really think if you can get your hands on it, borrow it from your library. I think there's an audio version as well, or if you're not really into getting the book, sorry, I'm just moving things around, watch the YouTube videos from him himself, because he does have, I think, 19 videos on this channel. I haven't watched them all yet. I definitely want to finish the book first, which I will be doing tonight. And if I think of anything extra that I want to talk about, I'll do it on the Patreon lens clips after this video is going live, if there's anything I want to add. But I definitely think it is going to be awesome. I'm hoping and praying. I need a solution to my procrastination and my scattered brain. I don't feel in control, and when I don't feel in control, just things sort of spiral out of control even worse than they already are. So I definitely think this could be a lifesaver, and I hope that it's something that changes. I will do check-in videos with you guys or within YouTube. Not quite sure how I'm going to go about that yet. I'm still trying to decide what I'm willing to share on YouTube, and what I'm willing, or sharing here is completely different to sharing on YouTube. But I know a lot of people will enjoy a public video. I may do more personal check-ins on Patreon. Are you interested in more of this content for the month of July? Please let me know down below, or whether you're not phased about it, you don't really care. If the majority says that they want to see more about this process and sort of how I deal with it on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, let me know. And if there's enough interest, then I will make dedicated videos towards it. If this is something that you think will be interesting, or if you're doing One Book July and just would like to have my view on it, and see how, if it's changing how I'm doing things, if I feel like it's worth it, if the change was a positive one, a negative one, all that sort of stuff. I think I've talked way too much today. I know you guys like the chatty videos, so this is definitely one of them. But I'm definitely gearing up for the One Book July, and I'm going to sit down after I've had my lunch, a really late lunch, and start working out the mental inventory, which is something that the writer talks about in the book before you start. Things that you're working on, things you should be working on, and things you want to be working on. And this is definitely to help you work out what sort of collections, what sort of tasks, why you're doing things. Like a task, is it vital? Yes, keep it. If it's not vital, does it matter? No, like get rid of it. And that's definitely something that I am struggling with. Having a to-do list that's 100 pages long and getting maybe one thing checked off on it. I need to sit there and think about what should my time be spent doing, and definitely trying to work smarter, not harder. I always get it wrong. I always slip and go harder, not smarter. And that's how I feel like I have been doing. I'm trying to juggle so many plates that I just need to get my plates in order, and to make sure that I'm focusing my energy on the right things, or on like things that don't matter, and not sort of progressing where I want to be. And this is definitely talks about putting your energy into more mindful acts, more intentional acts, and sort of really honing in those thought processes, which I haven't been doing. I've been flying by the seat of my pants. Obviously it's working, but I don't feel in control, and now it's time to take control of the last half of the year and really go hard or go home for 2019. I'm gonna stop talking now. My throat is killing me. Have a wonderful day, guys, and I hope to hear about your experience, your thoughts, and your feelings about extra content on One Book July. I will put a post up in the Facebook group tonight, and we can have a discussion thread there as well, because sometimes people feel more comfortable posting in there than actually in the Patreon Facebook page, not the Facebook page, like the page itself. Oh my god, babbling. Goodbye. Have a wonderful day. Love you. Bye.